One of Charlie Kirk's children is not his. It belongs to someone very powerful. I'm going to leave that alone. Charlie Kirk found out about it and became unalive. I'm not blaming Erika. I'm just laying out the facts.
One of the children is not his. That is the whisper that has turned into a roar across the internet, shattering what was left of the Kirk family's privacy. What started as a tragic story of a young widow mourning her husband has taken a dark, twisted turn that no one saw coming. We are talking about allegations of a secret paternity test, a mother cutting off the grandparents completely, and a legal battle that is about to expose every skeleton in the closet. Reports are now flooding in that Erika Kirk hasn't just distanced herself from Charlie Kirk's parents, she has allegedly banned them from seeing their own grandchildren. And the reason why is terrifying. Insiders claim the parents finally pushed for the one thing Erika feared most: a DNA test. They suspected that the timeline of her relationship with Charlie didn't add up, and they believed the children might actually belong to a powerful figure from her past. But before the truth could come out,
more real sus stuff coming out of her. I didn't date for 5 years. Does anybody believe that? Does anybody believe that woman in the bikini showing up, she wasn't dating it? Does anybody believe someone who wants to go on a reality show wasn't dating? Does anybody believe that? Somebody's living in a young woman, a model, sexy model, who has no problem doing provocative photo shoots, which I have nothing against, by the way. I'm all for provocative photo shoots, but it seems to go against her brand.
Erika reportedly slammed the door shut, potentially filing for protective orders to keep the grandparents away. Is this the act of a protective mother, or a woman desperate to hide a secret that could destroy an entire legacy? The internet is watching, the lawyers are involved, and the picture-perfect family image is crumbling in real time. This isn't just a family feud anymore. This is a war for the truth. To understand how we got to this breaking point, we have to look at the months leading up to this explosion. For a long time, the public was on Erika's side. When Charlie passed, the world saw a grieving widow left with young children, and the sympathy was overwhelming. But behind the scenes, a very different story was unfolding. Charlie's parents, the people who knew him best, were reportedly growing increasingly suspicious. It started with small things, behaviors that didn't match the grieving process they were experiencing. While they were heartbroken, they watched as Erika launched what insiders are now calling a grief tour. Instead of retreating to heal with her family, she was everywhere. We're talking podcasts, high-profile interviews, red carpet appearances, and flashy events that felt less like memorials and more like brand launches. To Charlie's parents, it felt incredibly disrespectful. It felt like she was celebrating her newfound visibility rather than honoring the man she had lost. They watched in disbelief as she turned their son's tragedy into a platform for her own rise. But the real tension wasn't just about the media appearances.
So Erika Kirk actually had 2 boyfriends within the 5 years before meeting Charlie Kirk. So why lie about this? Before we talk about the 2 boyfriends, let's watch this clip where Erika Kirk is lying to us.
I lived out here. I was here for 5 years. I never dated here because I saw vicariously through my roommate how terrible it was. Somehow getting drinks was the replacement of having coffee and breakfast. I personally would rather have coffee or brunch with someone than going, I don't drink.
It was about the children. Sources close to the family claim that while Erika was out building her image, the kids were largely being raised by a rotation of nannies. The grandparents, who wanted to be there to support the little ones, felt pushed aside. They allegedly noticed a detachment in Erika, a coldness that made them question everything. And that's when the whispers started. They began to look at the timeline of the marriage, the speed at which everything happened, and the strange disconnect between Erika and the children. It forced them to ask the unthinkable: was Charlie actually the father? It's a question that destroys families, but for Charlie's parents, the doubt was too strong to ignore. They didn't just want to know for themselves, They wanted to protect Charlie's legacy from being built on a lie. This suspicion didn't come out of thin air. It was fueled by the glaring inconsistencies in Erika's own stories. If you've been following her interviews over the years, you know that her narrative is constantly shifting. She has told the world multiple versions of how she met Charlie, and they don't line up. In one breath, she claims it was a serendipitous God moment at an airport where she and her mother bumped into him by chance. It paints a picture of fate intervening. But in another version, she's on record saying that Tyler Bowyer, the current COO of Turning Point USA, set them up for a professional meeting that turned into a date. She claimed she didn't want to go, that she didn't need the job, but fate took over. However, internet sleuths and family insiders have dug up public records and photos that suggest a third reality, that Erika and Charlie may have known each other as far back as 2015, years before she claims they met. Why lie about the timeline? Why invent a meet-cute story if there was nothing to hide? For Charlie's parents, these lies were the first thread that, when pulled, unraveled the whole sweater. They realized that if she could fabricate the origin of their love story, she could fabricate anything. The trust was gone. And once the trust was gone, the demand for scientific proof became the only way forward. They wanted a DNA test. They wanted certainty. And that demand is reportedly what caused Erika to go nuclear, cutting them off from the grandchildren entirely. It wasn't just a rejection of the request, it was a punishment for asking. But the DNA test demand wasn't just based on a feeling. It was based on a trail of evidence that leads directly back to Erika's mysterious past. A past she tried very hard to scrub from the internet. You see, Erika built her brand on being the traditional, conservative wife who had saved herself for Charlie. She claimed in interviews that she hadn't dated for 5 years before meeting him, painting a picture of purity and patience. She famously said, "I didn't date. I don't drink. I find it unproductive." But as the spotlight on her grew, that story completely collapsed. We now know that during the very time she claimed to be single and waiting, she was allegedly in serious, long-term relationships with high-profile men. And this is where the timeline gets incredibly messy for Charlie's parents. One of the most prominent figures from her past is professional baseball player Tyler J.T. Massey. This wasn't a casual fling. In resurfaced interviews, she described him as her favorite human, her best friend, and her incredible boyfriend. There were engagement-style photos that circulated online, showing a couple that looked ready to walk down the aisle. But the detail that really sent a chill down the spine of the Kirk family was a resurfaced video from a political rally. In the footage, Erika and JT are seen standing together, looking very much like a family unit, standing next to a young girl who bears a striking, undeniable resemblance to JT. The internet exploded with theories. Did Erika play a stepmother role? Was there a secret family dynamic that she walked away from to be with Charlie? Even if that relationship ended cleanly, the timeline with her next alleged partner is what truly ignited the paternity rumors. Enter Cabot Phillips. He isn't just an ex. He is a current figure within the Turning Point USA organization, the very empire Charlie built. Reports and photos have surfaced showing Erika and Cabot on romantic dates, painting together, looking cozy, just months before she was supposedly engaged to Charlie. The overlap is tight, too tight for comfort. But the bombshell that has everyone talking is the baby timeline. Internet investigators noticed that Cabot Phillips reportedly welcomed a child around the exact same time Erika and Charlie had their firstborn. When you combine the close proximity of these relationships, the fact that Cabot remained in their professional circle, and the sudden birth announcements, you can see why Charlie's parents started losing sleep. It wasn't just paranoia, it was pattern recognition. They were looking at a woman who jumped from one serious relationship to another, rewriting her history each time to fit the new man she was with. And now, looking at their grandchildren, they couldn't help but search for resemblances that simply weren't there. This brings us back to the DNA test. When the family finally confronted Erika, sources say her reaction was telling. She didn't laugh it off. She didn't offer to take the test to prove them wrong and shut down the rumors. She didn't act like an innocent woman with nothing to hide. Instead, she went silent on the issue and went on the offensive regarding access. It was a strategic shutdown. By refusing to address the paternity question while simultaneously banning the grandparents, she created a wall of silence. But silence in the age of the internet is dangerous. It allows the public to fill in the blanks. And right now, the public is filling those blanks with the theory that the children might belong to Cabot or someone else entirely. The betrayal felt by Charlie's parents is immeasurable. They welcomed her into their family, they supported her, and now they feel like they were characters in a script she was writing. They believe she curated her entire life, her single backstory, her accidental meeting with Charlie, her devoted wife persona, all to secure a position of power and influence. And now that Charlie is gone, the mask has slipped. They aren't dealing with the grieving widow anymore. They are dealing with the architect of a narrative that is falling apart. The photos of her with her exes are viral. The contradictions in her interviews are being dissected by millions. And through it all, the question remains, if the kids are Charlie's, why not just take the test and end the war? The refusal is the loudest answer she could possibly give. Now we are in the endgame. The private family dispute has exploded into a full-blown legal war, and the fallout is affecting everything Charlie Kirk left behind. Reports confirm that Charlie's parents have officially taken this to court. They are filing for grandparents' rights, fighting tooth and nail to ensure they aren't erased from their grandchildren's lives. But this legal battle is exposing much more than just custody issues. It is pulling back the curtain on the internal chaos at Turning Point USA and the terrifying transformation of Erika Kirk from a grieving wife to a power-hungry CEO. Since taking over the organization, insiders say the vibe has shifted drastically. It's no longer about the mission, it's about her image. Staffers are leaking stories of a toxic environment where loyalty to Erika is valued over competence, and where the legacy of Charlie is being slowly rewritten to center around her. And here is the most disturbing twist that has the internet buzzing: the re-emergence of Cabot Phillips. Observers are pointing out that as Erika consolidates her power, Cabot seems to be stepping into a role that feels eerily similar to Charlie's. He's appearing in more content, his influence is growing, and physically, the optics are undeniable. People are calling it the replacement. It's as if she is recasting the role of her partner with an ex-boyfriend right in front of the audience that loved her husband. It's a move so bold and so disrespectful that it has turned even her staunchest defenders against her. The comment sections are no longer filled with prayers for you. They are filled with justice for Charlie's parents. The court filings are becoming public spectacle. Each side is digging in. Erika's team is arguing that the grandparents are a source of stress and trauma for the children, trying to paint them as the villains. But Charlie's parents are countering with claims of alienation and deception. They are reportedly ready to put everything on the table: financial records, timelines, and yes, the demand for paternity testing. They want it on the legal record. They know that a court-ordered DNA test is the one thing Erika cannot spin, filter, or delete. It is the ultimate truth serum. And that terrified silence coming from Erika's camp suggests they know it too. What happens if the test comes back negative? It's a question that could topple an empire. If it is proven that Charlie was not the father, it changes everything. It changes the inheritance, it changes the custody, it changes the public's perception of Charlie's entire life. He would go from a tragic hero to the victim of the ultimate betrayal. And Erika, she would lose all credibility. The brand she has built, the traditional values she preaches, the religious virtue signaling, it would all be exposed as a fraudulent performance. But even without the test results, the damage is being done. The grief tour has backfired. The public sees a woman who is more interested in photo ops and power grabs than in facilitating a relationship between her children and their grandparents. The optics are disastrous. Erika is trying to hold on to control, but she is losing the court of public opinion. Every day she keeps the grandparents away, she looks more guilty. Every day she refuses the test, the rumors solidify into accepted fact. Charlie's parents are not backing down. They have lost their son, and they refuse to lose the truth. They are willing to endure the public scrutiny, the legal fees, and the emotional exhaustion because they believe they are fighting for the soul of their family. They want to look their grandchildren in the eyes and know who they are. They want to ensure that Charlie's name isn't used to prop up a lie. This saga has become a dark reflection of trust and betrayal. It's a reminder that sometimes the people closest to us are the ones wearing the best masks. As the court dates approach, the tension is palpable. We are watching a slow-motion car crash of a prominent family. The outcome of this legal battle will likely rewrite the history books on Charlie Kirk. Will Erika manage to maneuver her way out of this with her high-powered legal team and PR spin? Or will the sheer weight of the evidence and the persistence of grieving grandparents finally force the truth into the light? One thing is certain: the version of the story Erika tried to sell is dead. Now, we are just waiting to see what the truth actually looks like. The silence is over, and the battle lines are drawn. This isn't just about gossip anymore. It's about the fundamental right of a family to know their own blood. Erika Kirk's decision to ban Charlie's parents has turned a private tragedy into a national scandal, and the internet is not letting it go. We have seen the photos, we have tracked the timelines, and now we are watching the legal system step in to do what should have been done months ago. But I want to know what you think. Is Erika Kirk a mother trying to protect her children from a hostile family? Or is she a woman terrified that a DNA test will expose a life built on lies? Do you think the children belong to Charlie? Or does the timeline with Cabot Phillips and the others prove there is a different father? And what do you make of the grandparents being cut off? Is that ever justified? This story is evolving every single day, and the court rulings are going to change everything. If you want to be the first to know what the DNA test reveals and how this legal war ends, you need to be subscribed. Hit that like button to support the investigation. Share this video to spread the word, and drop your theories in the comments below. The truth is coming, and it's going to be wild. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next update.